I had a free day today and somehow I'm still doing this past 9 o'clock. What the hell is wrong with me? So yeah, pre-race, this is Zandvoort, Netherlands Grand Prix. Nearly a month ago the game F1 23 came out. This video was supposed to come out tonight. My bad. Like I said, I had a free day. I had 2 hours yesterday, why didn't I do it then? Anyway, getting all these out as quick as I can. Hopefully the last one should be 24th of July. However, I've missed today, so it'll probably be 26th of July. However, if I can get this out on Saturday, it'll be 24th of July again. So, with that coming to a nice round minute, let's get started with qualifying for the Dutch Grand Prix. Have to wait 2 seconds. So, here we are. Qualifying 1 for the Dutch Grand Prix, we started off with a nice clean provisional pole lap. All 3 purple sectors, a 10th to Max in 2nd place. Fernando in 3rd, Alonso in 4th, Charles in 5th. Perez was 8th, and anyone else was outside the top 10. After the session, Max improved to go just over half 10th ahead. Charles put himself P4, Fernando was P6, Lewis P7, the respective teammates. Perez was down in P14. I'm Hamilton's teammate. Sainz in P9, and Ocon was down and out. No, not quite. 15th place. Very lucky for him not to have been knocked out of Q1. So we're going to go straight to Q2, shall we not? I don't think I said that correctly. Provisional pole position once again. However, we only had 2 purple sectors, Sector 1 and Sector 2. Sector 3 was a little bit slow, 3/10 to Max in fact. However, we still had a 2/10 gap to him in 2nd place. Lewis was in P3 and Charles was in P9. Fernando nowhere to be seen in the top 10. How about the teammates? Sainz was a P4, Ocon P6, and again, Perez also nowhere to be seen. End the session, and we were P1 still. Max P2, Lewis P3, Fernando P4, Charles P6. The teammates, Verstappen's teammate, Perez P7, Lewis's teammate, us, Fernando's teammate, Ocon, down and out in P14, and Leclerc's teammate Sainz in P5. On to qualifying 3 then. Lewis did not set a lap time to begin with, whilst we headed the session in P1. Only 2 purple sectors once again, for Sector 2 going to Leclerc this time. 2/10 slower than him in Sector 2, not sure where I went wrong there. To begin with, we had 2/10 to Fernando, who was in 2nd place. Charles was in 3rd. Max put himself P6, and like I said, Lewis was 10th without a lap time. The teammates, well, Sainz was P4, Perez P5, and obviously we're Lewis's teammate, and Ocon was out in P14. At the end of the session, we did not need to do another lap. We were P1, Fernando P2, Charles P3, Sainz P4, Verstappen P5, Perez P6, and Lewis setting a horrible lap time, down and out in P10.
It's time to go racing once again then here at Zandvoort as we get underway at the Dutch Grand Prix. .6 miles then make up a lap here at a very wet Zandvoort circuit, where some tricky braking zones and sudden drops can make it all too easy to slide off into the gravel. 14 corners overall, a 678-metre main straight. That will provide the best chance for overtaking. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, and Fernando Alonso completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Max Verstappen, and Perez. Bottas, Norris, Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. Gasly, Joe, Alex Albon and Ocon. Mick Schumacher, Stroll, Daniel Ricciardo and Yuki Tsunoda. Magnussen and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? It's not going to be plain sailing for our drivers today, although with the sky falling as it is, perhaps sailing isn't too far from the truth. Natalie Pinkham, good to have you with us here today. Your thoughts?
It is a touch damp, isn't it? As a driver, there are three big things to worry about when racing in these conditions: standing water, tyre temperature, and visibility. Judging distance to the cars around you is really tricky when you're driving through the vast amounts of spray that these wet weather Pirelli tyres kick up.
So as you can see, if you use your eyes to probably about half their full potential, you can see that it is raining. So we're going to be starting on the inters, and we're going to have a quick look at the weather strategy after we change the setup. 5, 10, 15, 30. Between 15 and 30 minutes, I am predicting. 5, 10, 15, 30. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't know what I've done at all to that last strategy. I don't know why. Oh, because I thought I could go to the end. I forgot about weather forecast. I don't know why I couldn't get those words out. I don't have a speech impediment. It's just called lazyitis. So yeah, we're going to change the first strategy now to fit in with the expected time for the rain to come, and that's between 15 and 30 minutes. Smack bang in the middle. 14, 13, whatever laps, 16. Let's see what it actually is. Oh, and by the way, the highlights will start like 5 minutes. But 2 minutes in, because I talk about something that doesn't matter. This has been started much later than normal, so I've had time to think back over the race. Now, what I mean, this is starting much later than normal. I do not mean I did not wake up at 6 and start at 7. I do not mean that. I started at 6, finished the race, and all that shebang about 5 to 9. It is now 20 to 10. The reason there's a 40-minute gap is because, well, this past couple of weeks I found a short that was very funny, and I started watching the guy's content a lot, and I mean a lot. It was all I wanted to do, really. Afterwards, yesterday I decided to search something up. I can't remember what caused me to search it up, but I found that one of their social media accounts had been banned. You can probably guess who I'm talking about now. But anyway, I had no idea of this, so I looked deeper. And yeah, I've just been caught up in a lot of YouTubers drama. If you really want to know who I'm talking about, it's H2O Delirious and Omreka. If you want my opinion on it, at the moment I've just been watching allegations and what Delirious has admitted and denied. They're both bad people. I really wanted Delirious to be good. Like, come on. But I don't know. Anyway, with that done, let's actually get on to what this video is about. Oh, no, Russell. There we go. 5 red lights are out, and away we go for the Dutch Grand Prix in the wet. We got an okay start. Oh, balls. Wondered why it wasn't following me. Got an okay start into turn 1. Alonso, no trouble at all. Perez having trouble with Bottas though, and Ferrari's having a little bit of civil war. So I was able to just pull away, so was Alonso, and because I had already pulled away from Alonso heading into turn 1, Alonso couldn't do anything against me. However, obviously wet running, heavy loads of fuel, not really prepared for it, and yeah, Alonso caught up a couple of tenths, but that's to be expected really. AI, they don't need to learn, which is what really annoys me. Like, I wish each AI was like trained the amount that their actual player, their driver is, if you know what I mean. So like, they're all trained and they all probably have like a limit or something, but then, for example, Alonso, he's been trained on 300 races, whereas Zhou Guanyu, he's only been trained, well, at this point, on 0. Like that. That'd be quite cool. Give each AI its different character, really. So on board with Alonso just to see us pull away. Yeah, he's a little bit slow on the throttle. He's just like tapping it, you know, trying to apply the throttle, not wanting to break the egg, although tapping it like that probably would have broke the egg. And we're staying in P1. What did I do? I probably broke egg under pure pressure. Alonso, he probably broke the egg under repeated pressure. Anyway, rain started going away on lap 6, and if you want to know why I'm saying it went away, because look at the lap time. Okay, thank you very much. 24:1. That doesn't seem right. Right, lap 5. 24:5. Lap 5 was a 24:6. Lap 6 was... oh, it didn't quite work. Lap 6 was a 24:1. I'm saying it's drying at that point. That's 4 tenths. You don't find that. You don't just find that. And then again 5 tenths. So it started drying from lap 6. And eventually lap 10 people started boxing. I only got told change strategy about here. So yeah, I got screwed. Verstappen, Perez, Bottas, Vettel, Norris stays out, Gasly, Albon, Hamilton, Zhou stays out, Ocon comes in, Tsunoda in, Ricciardo in, Schumacher, Magnussen, Latifi. Who stays out? Who was that continued? Magnussen. So at the moment 8 of us stayed out, 12 came in. Verstappen, Bottas, Vettel, Gasly, Albon, Hamilton, Perez, Ocon, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Schumacher and Latifi in the order that they are exiting the pit lane. Perez definitely got shafted. And we were close to, but we decided to come in on lap 10. So yeah, coming in, change the tyres. I was thinking of a medium hard, however I was told medium soft medium would be better, so I wasn't sure of that. But either way, I was going on to mediums once I came in. Saw no point on doing a soft. Soft may have to do a 2-stop. Mediums can do a 1-stop to the end. Alonso came in with us, so did Charles Leclerc. Sainz carried on. We went. Norris came in as well. Zhou came in, Stroll came in, and Magnussen came in as well. None of that is relevant, however, we get ahead of Alonso. And so we're going to rejoin the race. P2, a theoretical P1 after Sainz boxes. Max gains no time, almost over, a little close to Charles, however not close enough that he can make anything from it. So yeah, we're just going to go on board. So pit lane, obviously, because of what happened in Belgium, very cautious. Could have been a little bit more risky, however I wasn't. Now, this bit, green light now. Well, we'll use Sainz. 6.9. When do I actually go? I go about now. Almost the entire second. So, obviously, you hear me revving. That's me still holding the clutch. Now, I got the green light. I could have come out ahead of Lando. But somehow it timed it perfectly that I came out behind him as he pulled into his box. And what was worrying was the reason I thought the reason I couldn't go was because of Lando. So I thought I was going to get jumped by Fernando, but I wasn't, and I'm still a theoretical P1. But that was close on lap 12 when Sainz came in. So getting held up and the pit entry all lost us time, and we got jumped by Sainz. Whether the track was still suited towards the inters, I don't think so, because Max did not jump us. So I think it was just me being slow on the pit entry. So I wanted to get past him quick. I did so. Very risky. However, I got the job done, and we're now up into back into P1 after everyone's pit stop. Obviously, Sainz had cold tyres. I knew I wanted to get past him quick. We have pace, but I was worried that Sainz would pull away, and obviously I'd lose time. I don't want to do that, so I made sure to get past him very early. Wrong way. So there's Sainz, and you can see me spend all of my ERS just to try and get past him. Tried to do what I could do in lap 1. Not quite got the speed on the exit of the corner. However, we were close enough, so I just spent all of my ERS that I could without crashing. Luckily, Sainz broke early, allowing me to go down the inside. If he didn't break early, there wouldn't have been a gap on the inside. He would have just turned in. But we were able to nip down the inside. We weren't alongside, so if there was contact, it would have been my fault. However, there was no contact, and we're all good. He braked where I normally do. I just broke a little bit later. I did kind of scare him. However, it weren't like I was holding the line. It weren't like we were going to crash and he moved out of the way. He just kind of got scared by my car. Annoying that the AI get easily scared. Anyway, we have to go a long way into the race for our next incident. I say incident, everyone started boxing for their second tyres. No? Yeah? No, it's a couple of laps later, that's why. Really weird, they started boxing around 36, 37. Me, if I was going to box, it would have been 41. And it was. Science came... No, Science is not. Okay. Science came in with me. Anyway. Yeah, when I came in from the inters, it did say... I did get another change of strategy, and that was 2 medium softs. The softs would have been to pit lap 52. Nothing wrong with that strat, I just kind of felt like that wouldn't work. And lap 39, I got the call. Lap 40, I got the call to box lap 40. I continued with the strategy. I selected the strategy that I already had, but on lap 41, I said box this lap. Onto the mediums, because well, we had 62 laps, and split that into, you get 2 equal 31 lap stints. 31 laps from 40 is 41, so we box onto the second mediums. And the reason we don't have to go hard or softs is because it rained earlier in the race, and so that rule goes out the window. Very cautious on the pit entry. We could have been a little bit quicker, but it don't matter, it's fine. And we're in P1 again in the Dutch Grand Prix. Hamilton, P13 at the moment, not looking good. We'll gain a lot of points on him. However, anyone near turn 1? I just want to try and make this quicker. Right, here we go. Oh, no, wrong lap. Oh well. I thought that would work, it didn't. But I thought it would. And got 5 minutes before I kind of want to end this. So, anyway, sector 3, lap 46. What did I do? You'll have to wait and see. We've got 4 seconds to Science at the moment, so if you get a penalty, we're fine. At the moment, we have no track limit warnings. In fact, there's nothing on the race director. However, we were on the curb, and we headed towards the barrier. Luckily, we were safe, and we only just touched it with a front wing. Defending towards the middle versus Science, he tries to go around the... He tried to go down the middle, inside, and then went to the outside. Through turn 1 he almost got it, however we had enough speed that it didn't work for him, and he kept hassling me throughout the rest of the lap. Luckily we were quick enough that even with the front wing damage that we could stay ahead of him. However, we should not have the front wing damage, purely because it was a terrible mistake. Why do we keep going the wrong way? So, heading into turn 14, touched the curb on the inside. I don't think that affected me. I just didn't turn enough, and I was a lot on the curb. Wheel on the white line, and it didn't like that. It spat me off, and somehow I get away with just the front wing. front wing is in the wall. And because of the counter steer, it made the wheel parallel with the barrier. So I think that's why it hasn't retired me, and it's only given me front wing damage. And even then, the front wing damage is not that bad. So performance isn't too bad. And Science saw none of that. He saw me pull away, and he saw me going slow. I mean, how on earth did I get enough speed that still Science couldn't overtake me? I don't know. But I think I wasn't focusing on the race properly, and yeah, made a mistake. Didn't cost me a position, cost me a couple of seconds, but it's fine. He then stayed within DRS for a few laps. Lap 48 was slow, front wing damage. Lap 53 also slow, front wing damage. Still in DRS. 55 slow, 56 and 57. Don't know what I did on 58, but I just pulled away and got outside. Nope, not yet. Well, it was quick enough that from lap 58 we were quick enough, and 61 we finally got out of DRS range. And in the meanwhile, where was Perez? Yeah. So, in the midst of that, Perez's Red Bull engine decided to give out real life Monaco, came into the game, and I've got this wrong. I've forgotten where he is. Oh, it's Big Air Gasly, that's why. Whoops. Never mind. So he came in. Okay. So he came in off his medium tyres, and his car's like, nah, bruv, I thought this was the end of the race. And he took him out of it. P14, not a very good race from AlphaTauri. P18 with Sonoda. Yeah, out of race, out of points. Does not matter at all. This is a familiar sight. AlphaTauri stopping by the exit of turn 3, 4, whatever it's called. It's familiar. Anyway, we got out DRS, and just in time for our 10 laps of pushing. Kind of forgot that we were within the 10 laps of pushing, so it wasn't till like lap 65 when I started pushing. But it don't matter. And whatever Perez does, well, it didn't matter. Because on lap 60, I'll say 64. I forgot where sector 3 starts. Lap 64, Perez through sector 3. P10 at the moment. Not bad after getting shafted from the first pit stop. However, he's going to get shafted again. And through the banked corner, his engine goes out just like Gasly's. And as he comes to turn 1, he's going to pull over to the side and retire from the Grand Prix. Almost holding up some cars, although that's some cars' fault, not Perez's. And he makes it the second retirement from the race. 1 Honda engine from each team. Honda team gone. And that's pretty much it. Lap 72. 6 seconds to Sainz. I did not realise that I built that much of a gap. But we just kept pushing and pushing, and despite front wing damage, we set a couple more fastest laps. I made sure to do so when we first got the tyres, just in case we couldn't do this at the end, purely because of tyre wear, not because I knew I was going to make a mistake. Like 31 laps on these tyres, I was getting tyre wear warning at the end of the first mediums, so I knew that I might not be able to get fastest lap towards the end here, so I set one at the beginning of the stint just to make sure. So we come across the line to win the Grand Prix with front wing damage and fastest lap. Very good job, very good job indeed. One mistake that I can think of. I can't think of any other mistakes. And this is just what we need to do. We need to do this several times. Keep doing this. Max in P4, Lewis in P9, Alonso P3. We don't need to worry about Alonso. Couple good, seeing as on average he will be finishing 4th due to Lewis and Max. So despite him still being in the points gap, which after this race is 122, despite him still being there, we do not have to worry about him, because after Italy he should be outside of that gap. And with Lewis's bad result, he's only 10 points ahead of Fernando, so he gets another bad result and we've got the gap to Lewis as well. So yeah, it's looking good. Didn't stay up past 10:30 last night. Really refreshed, and yeah, I just need to get back to the routine that I had in Championship 59 the second season, and once we do that, I don't see myself losing the championship. So getting there, getting back to that routine, and when I am, that's when I'm best. That's when I'm at my best. So I'll see you in the race debrief. Welcome to the Monday morning review of the Dutch Grand Prix. In attendance we have Bobbi Winter, the driver, Mark Priestley, his race engineer, Toto Wolff, the team principal, and Rosie Waite, the head of strategy. Without further ado, let's get straight into it, shall we? So, the race results. We were P1, Sainz P2, and Fernando Alonso P3 rounding out the podium. How about the rest of our rivals? Well, Max was in P4, Charles in P5, and Lewis in P9. The teammates of our rivals, in the order that our rivals finished. So that would mean Ocon first, P14, Perez retired very late at the end of the race, and Carlos P2, and obviously we're Lewis's teammate. I did that in such an awkward order, I shouldn't have done it like that. So, we almost lost the lead to Sainz towards the end of that race with the little half spin in turn 14. However, we got the fastest lap and Max was in P4 and we won anyway. So, it doesn't matter, and we were able to win very easily despite only a 6-second gap. So, how does this affect the Drivers' Championship? Here they are. So, just as a little reminder, heading into this Grand Prix, we could knock some more drivers from winning the championship, and Max could knock some drivers from getting P2. Now, if you don't want to listen, for people watching the video, if you don't want to listen to this bit, skip to whatever time is on the screen. I will make sure that there is a time on the screen. So, we have to beat Vettel by 13 points or more, Ocon by 8 points or more, Perez by 4 points or by minus 4 points, Stroll by minus 19, Gasly by minus 22, Bottas by minus 23, Zhou by minus 25, and for Schumacher minus 25 points. Verstappen has to beat Magnussen by 14 points or more, Albon by 14 points or more, Tsunoda by 8 points or more, and Latifi by minus 7 points or more, and Ricciardo by minus 9 points or more. So, how does the championship look? We're in P1 with Max in P2, Hamilton P3, Alonso P4, and Charles P5. How about the teammates of our rivals? Well, Sainz is in P6, Ocon is in P9, Perez is P10, and obviously we're Lewis's teammate. So, Fernando is still within the 122 target points gap. However, we gain points over everybody, and Lewis is much closer to that target gap thanks to his 9th place result. So yeah, Fernando is still about 3 points away, so if we beat him in the next race, we should easily get we should easily get him within the target. So how does the championship permutations look? Well, we were able to beat Vettel, Ocon, Perez, Stroll, Gasly, Bottas, Zhou, Schumacher by the required points. Obviously, Perez downwards was very easy because we just had to beat them. Did Verstappen beat any of his targets? Yes, he beat Tsunoda, Latifi, and Ricciardo. Obviously, Latifi and Ricciardo being the easiest because they were negative points. So now, how does it look afterwards? Well, we can knock Sainz from winning the championship by beating him by 11 points or more. Norris by minus 5 points, and that's it for us. Verstappen has to beat Ocon by 15 or more, Perez by 3 or more, Stroll by minus 12, Bottas by minus 12, Gasly by minus 15, Zhou by minus 16, Schumacher by minus 18, Magnussen by minus 24, Albon by minus 24. Now, since Verstappen was able to beat 3 drivers by enough points, Lewis can now knock people from winning third. And to do so, he has to beat Tsunoda by 20 points or more, Latifi by 5 points or more, and Ricciardo by 3 points or more. So with the Drivers' Championship all done, let's move over to Constructors. And if you remember, we could also beat some teams from winning the Constructors. In order to do so, we had to beat Aston Martin by 22 points or more, McLaren by 13 or more, Alfa Romeo by minus 19, Haas by minus 28, and AlphaTauri by minus 31. So, how does the Constructor Championship look? Well, we're in P1, for Red Bull in P2, Ferrari P3, and Alpine P4. Unfortunately, Ferrari gained points on us. However, Red Bull lost points, and McLaren below can no longer win. So yes, we beat McLaren, Alfa Romeo, Haas, and AlphaTauri by enough points. Obviously, Alfa Romeo, Haas, and AlphaTauri were easiest because we just had to beat them. Now, there is a little catch with Aston Martin. They can level with points on us, so technically I'm not counting them as out yet, but really I should, because we've won more races than them, I am inclined to believe, which is why I'm not certain yet. Afterwards, to knock Aston Martin, we have to beat them by minus 44 points or more, which is fairly obvious. So, and also Red Bull can prevent Williams from getting second place in the Constructors by beating them by 43 points or more. So they need a 1-2, which is highly unlikely if you ask me. So yeah, one more race and it could be the big rivals that can only win anymore, which, if you ask me, is kind of exciting. So, with the constructors over, let's talk about the race lap graph. So, for the Dutch Grand Prix, it started out wet, dried fairly quickly, and we went on to 2 medium tyres. The inter period was very good. The part where it was still raining, very consistent. When it was drying, it was a very consistent downward line. Pit onto the medium tyres. We were stuck behind Sainz for the first lap. The second lap, we were just getting the tyres up to temperature. The second lap we were stuck behind Sainz and getting them up to temperature, and so our target was a little bit skewed. And so we set purple times across the entire stint. There is one green, however, it's a little bit annoying, but pretty much consistent stint. And then the second stint on the second set of mediums, pretty much mostly greens, however there is 6 yellows I think, 5, and one of them where we almost lost the race. However, it was fine, we stayed ahead of Sainz and he couldn't overtake us. So yeah, I didn't change the detailing on this one, whoops. So yeah, the first mediums was more consistent than the second one. So it would have been a little bit nicer if we could make the second one as consistent as the first one, but you know, stuff like that happens, and we push forth and build the consistency. So the detailing above should say there were 5 yellow laps, however, pace maintained across the first stint, and very good job in the wet period. So if no one has any questions, we can move over to the Dutch Grand Prix in 8 images. So, Bobbi, you sent in your half spin and the race results. Mark, you sent in the Drivers' Championship and the race results. Toto, you sent in Q3 and the Constructors' Championship. Rosie, you sent in an image of us being stuck behind Sainz and us coming in for our second pit stop. So, without further ado, let's get straight into your images, Bobbi, and talk about what they mean. So, oh my god. My bad. Just ignore the detailing. I forgot to change them. So, yeah, this is what happened when you try to rush. So, your bad image. I'm just going to have to bear with me 1 second whilst I get what you sent to me. Here it is. Yes, so half spin and a massive dub is what you put with yours, Bobbi. Mark, so yeah, very good win. However, a little bit of mistake in the start of the second stint. It could have cost us. It didn't, luckily. We did lose a lot of time to Sainz. Very good that you were able to keep ahead of him on that straight. If you weren't, then we'd have to fought back again, and that would have took a longer period of time. So it's very good that you got past him straight away. Massive dub, shortened for a good win. The led pretty much every lap. If it weren't for the pit stop to dries, and obviously it was better that we didn't lead that lap because we were much better. However, Sainz did jump us, although I am inclined to believe that was more so how early you break into pit lane than the strategy actually being better for Sainz. It might have been. We'll have to look at the telemetry. However, the telemetry machine has broke and we're in the process of fixing it. So yeah, no questions on those two images. We can move straight over to Mark's images. And you put the drivers championship and the race results. So Lewis and Max and Fernando are still within the target gap. However, we gained 14 points over Max. So yeah, good progress on both drivers, to be honest. Fernando, we don't need to worry about too much, but very good progress over the two drivers that we do need to worry about. So Lewis is now really close to that gap, and Max is slowly coming towards that gap. At the moment, he's just under 60 points behind. We need another 63, but another couple of bad races for him, and that could be very well within reach. And then Lewis, yeah, one or two more victories like this, and you're there. Maybe even one, to be honest. So yeah, like I said, ignore the detailing. That's incorrect. I forgot to change it. So next up, Toto, your two images were the Q3 result and the Constructors' Championship. Lewis Q3 P10 and everybody scored points over Red Bull. Yeah, so we scored quite heavily. Ferrari scored more than us, I believe, this weekend, and Alpine scored a podium. So yeah, everyone scored more than Red Bull, which is really good. However, Lewis in Q3 P10 would have been very nice if he was higher up. We could have scored more points over Red Bull. We could have got a 1-2, etc. Although it is a double-edged sword. You get Lewis down in P10, and we get Lewis towards the target gap again. However, we get Lewis P2. We gain more points from constructors. At this point, I don't think we really have to worry about the target gap, seeing as we are starting to knock drivers out from winning. But it's nice to get people within that gap, because then you know that you don't have to worry about ever being in the upcoming races. But then the constructors, again, we're starting to knock people out as well, so I don't think we need to worry that much, especially with the over 100 point gap that we have. So yeah, we don't need to worry about Red Bull being we don't need to worry about Red Bull scoring good points, especially when we scored more points than them this weekend anyway, with P1 and P10. So last but not least, Rosie Waite, the head of strategy. Your two images was science and the pit stop. So yes, science lap 12 and 47, and then the double mediums. So yes, science lap 12 just come out ahead of us from those enters. Very good move to get them through turn 7. It was a bit risky, but you got it done. Very good job, and swiftly got past him. And then lap 47, yes, he hassled us a little bit at the beginning of the lap. Majorly your fault, but it's fine. You don't need to worry too much. You were able to stay ahead. We'd only be slating you if you did lose the position to him and then have to get back past him. But then obviously, two mediums, very good. It's quite interesting to see how many people decided to pit earlier for the second set of mediums, but obviously 2 sets of mediums, might as well just split it halfway, and that's what you did. So yeah, very good job from all sides of the department. Obviously Lewis could have been a little bit better, but that's fine for us. So yeah, if no one's got any more questions, thank you for listening to the Monday morning review of the Dutch Grand Prix. Yeah, Italy's up next. Bit of a power circuit. Not many low speeds, so you should be able to go well around there. Bobbi, but turn 3 was a little struggle for you in the previous couple of seasons, and then obviously chicanes and the curbs, so it might be a hit and miss. But I have faith, and I see no reason why you can't win. So I'll see you all there. So yeah, sorry about the images. This is normal me again. Sorry about the images. I was trying to rush to get this one done. As you'll hear in the Belgian Grand Prix, this took longer than I thought it was going to. Microphone. I'm using my laptop one because using my headphones sounds weird on my laptop. However, when I use my headphones on my phone, it sounds perfectly normal. So I'm just going to see if this works normally. You probably didn't hear me at all during the 8 images, but hopefully you did. Yeah, there's not really anything else to say, is there? So yeah, like I said, in Belgium, I'm all the way up to 2-time trials. This has been done on the actual 4th of July. Happy Independence Day for any Americans. I think you're the only ones that celebrate it, I'm not sure. Because it's independence from us, the UK. So yeah. Final two F122 stuff on the Xbox this weekend, and then I am targeting to get the final video, episode 104, out on the 24th of July. And then from that weekend, which is the Belgian Grand Prix in real life, I'll start making F123 content. So it's looking good, and yeah, I'll see you in Italy. I think is my next time I'm going to be recording something, although it might be the pre-race weekend clip. There is no weekend clip. Pre-race and qualifying stuff for this one. So yeah, it'll be one of those two. Bye. I've dragged on long enough. Bye.